In 1945, Japan lay destroyed, yet it soon rose into a global powerhouse. The nation faced starvation, homelessness, and complete economic collapse after devastating wartime destruction. Many experts believe Japan would remain weak for generations, unable to rebuild effectively. Yet beneath the ruins, a disciplined society prepared for an extraordinary national transformation ahead. Japan's people embraced resilience, unity, and relentless effort as foundations for their future recovery. The United States soon occupied Japan, unexpectedly becoming the architect of its economic rebirth. Under occupation, Japan received sweeping reforms reshaping politics, industry, education, and national economic priorities. Land reforms empowered farmers, democratization strengthened institutions, and industrial rebuilding accelerated nationwide progress. Japan shifted from militarism toward peaceful industrial growth, focusing on manufacturing and technological advancement. This strategic redirection laid the foundation for Japan's future rise as a global exporter. Then history delivered an unexpected boost. The Korean War created massive demand for supplies. The United States used Japan as its primary logistics base, injecting enormous economic stimulus. This sudden demand revived industries, strengthened companies, and accelerated Japan's post-war economic momentum dramatically. Japan's economy surged, transforming from devastation into rapid growth within only a few years. But Japan wasn't merely recovering. It was reinventing itself with a unique development strategy. Japanese companies imported Western technologies, improved them, and produced superior versions for global markets. This learn, improve, dominate approach became central to Japan's emerging economic identity worldwide. Quality became Japan's signature, with companies emphasizing precision, durability, and continuous improvement practices. This philosophy, known as Kaizen, encouraged constant small improvements across every industry and workplace. Kaizen created a culture where innovation emerged gradually, consistently, and reliably across the entire economy. Meanwhile, government agencies coordinated industrial growth, guiding companies toward strategic national priorities. This partnership between government, banks, and corporations formed Japan's powerful developmental state model. The model emphasized long-term planning, export strength, and technological leadership over short-term profits. Japan's workforce embraced discipline, teamwork, and loyalty, becoming one of the world's most productive. By the late 1950s, Japan's economic engine was accelerating faster than global observers expected. The nation prepared to showcase its transformation on the world stage through a historic event. The 1964 Tokyo Olympics symbolized Japan's rebirth, signaling its return as a modern nation. Japan unveiled the Shinkansen, the world's first bullet train, demonstrating unmatched engineering capability. The bullet train became a national icon, representing speed, efficiency, and Japan's technological ambition. Japan's global reputation shifted rapidly as its products gained recognition for exceptional quality worldwide. Exports surged, factories expanded, and Japan's GDP grew at unprecedented double-digit annual rates. By the late 1960s, Japan had become one of the world's fastest-growing major economies. The nation's transformation from ruins to prosperity stunned global economists and political leaders alike. Japan's success resulted from discipline, innovation, planning, and a unified national commitment. But Japan's rise was only beginning. Even greater achievements awaited in coming decades. The next phase would push Japan into global dominance across technology, manufacturing, and finance. Japan's companies prepared to challenge Western giants, reshaping global competition across multiple industries. The world watched closely as Japan's economic miracle accelerated toward unprecedented global influence. But rapid growth carried hidden risks that would eventually threaten Japan's remarkable progress. Japan's greatest economic triumphs were approaching, but so were the seeds of future crisis. Japan entered the 1960s with unstoppable momentum, rapidly expanding industries across multiple sectors. Companies like Sony, Toyota, and Panasonic began shaping Japan's emerging global economic identity. These companies focused on precision, durability, and innovation, outperforming many established Western competitors. Toyota revolutionized manufacturing with just-in-time production, minimizing waste and maximizing efficiency. This system became a global benchmark, influencing factories worldwide for decades to come. Sony stunned global markets with groundbreaking products, including the iconic portable Walkman music player. Japan's electronics industry surged, producing televisions, cameras, and audio devices dominating global shelves. By the 1970s, Japan had become the world's manufacturing powerhouse, exporting goods everywhere. The nation's disciplined workforce and efficient systems created unmatched productivity across major industries. Japan's GDP soared, growing faster than any other major economy during this period. Even global crises, like the 1970s oil shocks, failed to derail Japan's economic momentum. Japan responded by shifting toward high-tech industries requiring innovation instead of heavy energy consumption. Robotics became a national strength, with Japan leading global automation and industrial robot development. Semiconductor production expanded rapidly, positioning Japan as a dominant force in global electronics. Japan's export strategy emphasized reliability, making its products trusted worldwide across many industries. By the early 1980s, Japan's economy ranked second globally, trailing only the United States. Japanese corporations expanded aggressively overseas, acquiring assets and establishing global operations. Investors purchased iconic American properties, including Rockefeller Center and several Hollywood studios. These acquisitions symbolized Japan's rising confidence and growing influence within global financial markets. Japan's currency strengthened significantly, increasing purchasing power and fueling further international expansion. Meanwhile, domestic asset prices soared, driven by optimism, speculation, and extremely easy credit. Land values skyrocketed, especially in Tokyo, where property became extraordinarily expensive. At the bubble's peak, Tokyo land prices reached levels unmatched anywhere else globally. The Imperial Palace grounds were valued higher than entire country's real estate combined. Japan's stock market surged alongside real estate, creating unprecedented national wealth on paper. Corporations borrowed heavily, assuming asset prices would continue rising indefinitely without interruption. Banks issued loans freely, often using inflated land values as collateral for massive borrowing. This cycle of optimism, speculation, and credit expansion fueled Japan's extraordinary economic bubble. Many believed Japan had discovered a new economic model capable of endless growth. Western nations feared Japan's dominance, predicting it might eventually surpass the United States. Japanese companies outperformed global competitors, especially in automobiles, electronics, and precision machinery. Japan's trade surplus grew enormous, causing international tensions and economic negotiations worldwide. The Plaza Accord of 1985 aimed to weaken the yen and reduce Japan's trade advantage. Ironically, the accord strengthened the yen further, intensifying Japan's asset bubble dramatically. Stronger currency encouraged even more investment, pushing asset prices to unsustainable extremes. By the late 1980s, Japan appeared unstoppable, dominating global markets across numerous industries. Yet beneath the surface, the bubble's foundations were fragile, unstable, and dangerously inflated. The Bank of Japan grew concerned, recognizing the economy was overheating at an alarming pace. To cool speculation, the bank raised interest rates, triggering unexpected consequences nationwide. Higher rates slowed borrowing, weakened speculation, and began deflating Japan's massive economic bubble. Japan's economy reached extraordinary heights, yet its foundations were becoming dangerously unstable underneath. Asset prices soared far beyond reality, driven by speculation, optimism, and extremely easy credit. Banks issued massive loans using inflated land values as collateral for further borrowing. Corporations borrowed aggressively, assuming rising prices would continue indefinitely without significant correction. Investors believed Japan had discovered a unique formula guaranteeing endless economic expansion forever. Real estate prices skyrocketed, especially in Tokyo, reaching levels unmatched anywhere else globally. The imperial palace grounds became valued higher than entire countries' combined real estate holdings. Japan's stock market surged alongside property, creating unprecedented national wealth on paper alone. But beneath the excitement, the bubble's structure was fragile, unstable, and dangerously inflated. Concerned by overheating markets, the Bank of Japan decided to raise interest rates. Higher rates slowed borrowing, weakened speculation, and began deflating Japan's massive economic bubble. Stock prices collapsed rapidly, wiping out enormous wealth and shocking investors nationwide. Real estate values plunged next, leaving banks with mountains of unrecoverable loans. Japan entered a severe financial crisis, triggering what became known as the Lost Decade. But the stagnation lasted far longer, ultimately stretching across 3 difficult economic decades. Banks refused acknowledging losses, choosing instead to hide failing loans and struggling borrowers. These failing companies became zombie firms, surviving only through continuous lending without profitability. Zombie firms slowed innovation, blocked competition, and prevented healthy businesses from expanding effectively. Consumers reduced spending dramatically, fearing uncertainty and prioritizing savings over economic activity. Deflation emerged, causing prices to fall steadily and discouraging purchases across the entire economy. When prices fall continuously, consumers delay buying, freezing economic momentum and weakening growth. Businesses cut investment, reduced hiring, and struggled to maintain profitability in deflationary conditions. Japan's population began aging rapidly, shrinking the workforce and increasing social welfare burdens. Fewer workers meant lower productivity, reduced consumption, and slower long-term economic expansion. Government stimulus programs attempted revival, but structural issues prevented strong, sustained recovery. Zero interest rates became normal, yet borrowing remained weak due to persistent uncertainty. Japan's cautious corporate culture discouraged risk-taking, slowing innovation and entrepreneurial activity. Meanwhile, China's rapid rise captured global markets Japan once dominated confidently. Japan struggled adapting to new competition, losing influence in several key industries. Despite challenges, Japan maintained stability, safety, and technological capability throughout stagnation. The nation's resilience prevented collapse, even as growth remained slow and unpredictable. Japan's experience became a global warning about bubbles, demographics, and long-term stagnation risks. Economists worldwide studied Japan's crisis, hoping to avoid repeating similar mistakes. Japan's story revealed how confidence, psychology, and expectations shape entire economic trajectories. The bubble's collapse reshaped Japan's identity, shifting national priorities toward stability over rapid growth. Yet Japan continued innovating, especially in robotics, automation, and precision engineering fields. Despite stagnation, Japan remained globally influential, offering valuable lessons for modern economies. The nation's journey demonstrated that economic miracles can reverse quickly without structural safeguards. Japan's fall was dramatic, but its resilience ensured continued relevance in global affairs. The world now watches Japan closely, learning from its past and anticipating its future. Japan's stagnation reshaped global economic thinking, influencing policies, warnings, and long-term planning worldwide. Economists coined Japanification to describe slow growth, low inflation, and persistent economic stagnation. Several advanced economies now face similar challenges, including aging populations and weak productivity growth. Japan became a cautionary example showing how bubbles can permanently alter national economic trajectories. The nation's experience demonstrated the dangers of excessive speculation and unchecked financial optimism. Japan also revealed how demographic decline can slow growth even with strong technological capability. Many countries now confront similar demographic pressures, making Japan's lessons increasingly relevant today. Japan's long stagnation showed that economic confidence is as important as economic policy. When consumers fear the future, spending declines, investment slows, and growth becomes difficult. Japan's crisis proved that psychological factors can shape entire decades of economic performance. Yet despite stagnation, Japan maintains stability, safety, and high living standards nationwide. The nation continued innovating, especially in robotics, automation, and precision engineering technologies. Japan's technological leadership remains strong, influencing global manufacturing and automation strategies. The country's resilience demonstrated that slow growth does not necessarily mean national decline. Japan adapted by prioritizing stability, quality, and long-term sustainability over rapid expansion. Its society embraced longevity, safety, and harmony, creating a uniquely balanced national environment. Japan's experience now guides global policymakers confronting similar structural and demographic challenges. The nation's journey highlights the importance of early reforms before problems become unmanageable. Japan also shows that ignoring financial bubbles can create decades of economic consequences. Yet Japan's stability proves that strong institutions can preserve national strength despite stagnation. The country remains globally influential, shaping technology, culture, and economic thinking worldwide. Japan's future will rely on automation, innovation, and strategic adaptation to demographic realities. New generations are embracing entrepreneurship, creativity, and global collaboration across emerging industries. Women are entering the workforce in greater numbers, helping offset demographic workforce declines. Startups are rising, introducing fresh ideas and challenging Japan's traditionally conservative corporate culture. Japan's future growth may be slower, but it will remain steady, stable, and innovative. The nation's emphasis on quality ensures continued global respect across technology and manufacturing sectors. Japan's story proves that economic miracles can fade, yet national resilience can endure. Its journey offers powerful lessons about ambition, caution, adaptation, and long-term national strategy. As global economies face uncertainty, Japan's experience becomes increasingly valuable for policymakers. The world now watches Japan closely, learning from its past and anticipating its future. Japan's resilience ensures it remains influential, innovative, and respected across global affairs. Its story reminds us that progress continues even when rapid growth slows significantly. Japan's journey blends triumph, crisis, recovery, and reinvention into one extraordinary national narrative. The nation's experience encourages others to prepare early for demographic and financial challenges. Japan's lessons will shape global economic thinking for decades as new challenges emerge. Its future may be quieter than its past, yet still profoundly influential worldwide. Japan's story continues evolving, offering insight into resilience, adaptation, and national transformation. Understanding Japan helps us understand global economics, human behavior, and long-term societal change. If you enjoyed this journey, explore more stories revealing hidden forces shaping our world.